And the next thing, we just need to do some final touch up here, add some adjustment layer, do some color correction, add in some noise, and then we can do some lens blur as well. Let's go to add a adjustment layer. We can call this one noise, and then we can add in noise effects. For the noise, we can just turn the amount to maybe 15%. If I zoom in really close, you can see it's adding in a bit of noise. Let's add in another adjustment layer. For this one, we just call this one colors. And then let's go add in a curves effect. We can just slightly drag this curve to maybe tone up the highlights a little bit, and then make sure the midtone is still in the center here, and then I can drag the shadow up a little bit so that my shadow is not too dark. Just based on your taste, you can actually just color correct with the curves adjustment slightly to make your scene better. This is before and after, just slight adjustments. We can also add in a vibrance. Here, let's see. If we add in a vibrance, I can change the vibrance value up. It's gonna make this yellow color highlight really vibrant. Maybe that's not what I want. Maybe I can change it to 20 instead of turning it all the way up to 100. Just a slight color tweak. Next, I just want to add some imperfection to the scene. So what I want to do is let's create a new solid layer. Maybe change it to a white color. That's cool. And then turn it off for now. With the layer selected, I'm going to use my pen tool to draw some area in this layer to use it as a blur map. So I'm going to draw this corner of the coffee machine, and then maybe this part of the coffee machine here, and then maybe this little part here. Just draw some random shapes in the scene here, and maybe this area here, so that I can use it as a blur map. So those are the 4 areas in my scene that I want to use as a blur map. And then for this one, just call this one blur map. We can go ahead and create a new adjustment layer. For this one, we'll call this one blur. And then we're going to use the effect called compound blur. For the compound blur, it's going to blur out the whole scene. However, we're going to use a blur layer, which is the blur map, and then we're going to change it to effects and masks. In this case, over here, you can see we're using this blur map layer to blur out certain areas in the scene. And I think right now the blur is too much. Let's tone it down to 5, or maybe even 2. I think even 2 works, maybe 1. Just tone it all the way down so that we have some blurriness, some imperfection in the scene. You can see almost like a lens blur or something. Something is out of focus. So that looks pretty cool. I like the imperfection that is looking. If we turn it off, this is before, everything is perfectly in focus. And then this is after. We have some area that's out of focus that makes it more realistic, more stylized. There you have it. This is the final of our animation.